The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I do have to say off the top of the program, I am not sure if we're actually broadcasting on the air at the moment. My guests and I, we had some problems getting things figured out, and I'm pretty sure it's on my end. I'm not pretty sure. I know it's on my end, and I don't know what's going on. I just got word from Brett, our engineer, saying that we are in the air. I couldn't get the radio to come through, like the radio broadcast, so I'm not sure what's happening. I guess there's nothing to worry about. After all that, there is nothing to worry about. It was one of those just ridiculous moments where I can't get anything to work over here. And then if those online might have been hearing a cat meowing nonstop at the same time, it's like, leave me alone. I got to get on the air. I got to figure this out. So anyway, I don't know what's going on, but as long as you all can hear us, it's good, because we have a really good guest tonight. And I love talking about this stuff, and I promoted it this week as Religious Relics, but as it happens, talking with my guest, Author Wendy Reardon, talked about maybe instead, we can throw some of that in there, but in fact, what we can also do is talk about Marian apparitions. I'm going to talk about that if that's something that is not completely known to you, what that is. We'll talk about that in a second. Wendy had been on the program before, and we had talked about a book that she had written, which I think is fantastic, The Death of the Popes. We talked about that. We didn't even scratch the surface, to be perfectly honest on that. So maybe sometime we're going to maybe be able to go back and check that out as well. Wendy, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Thank you for having me again. I'm enjoying it.
Well, I'm happy to hear it. After we figured out I quite frankly, I haven't figured out what's going on, but Brett texted me and saying, "You're fine. We can hear you." I guess that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Maybe this is a Marian apparition, an audio form. I really don't know. So, Wendy, why don't we start with that? For those who don't know, and I'm sure if they don't know, and once you say it, they're going to be, oh, of course. What is a Marian apparition?
A Marian apparition is when people, usually children, see a vision of the Virgin Mother, and she speaks to them. There are miracles, and the church is very rigorous about investigating this scientifically. They've got to make sure that the person is of sound mind, that it goes with Catholic teaching, and is when the Virgin Mary comes to you. There's still some going on now. It started, I believe the first one was back in the year 40, way back in the day. And it's still going on now. There's actually more and more of them. There's a map, I don't know if you've seen it online, where it's literally got all the Marian apparitions of the world. There's only been 26 that are approved by the Vatican. I'm sorry, 16 by the Vatican and 10 by just local bishops, so they think it's something. So it's not very many that are actually officially confirmed, but there's a lot that are real close.
That's really interesting. And doing my little bit of research for what it's worth, I think the one that surprised me the most, and I've always found this one very fascinating, is the Medjugorje sighting, and it sounds like that is not fully approved.
No, it's not. Pope Francis had declared that it is still basically good to go there, and it's a good spiritual place. But they also said that it can't be approved until the visions stop. And what's interesting is that that of the, I believe it's the 6 people that the Virgin Mary has shown herself to there. She said that the visions will stop after they each get 10 secrets. And from what I was looking at today, 3 of them have already had 10, and the other 3 have had 9. So they're still waiting for 3 more. But even just the other day, March 26th was the latest message from the Virgin Mary to Medjugorje.
That's incredible, actually.
Yeah, it is.
That is,
it is.
Wow. Because that started in 1981.
Yes. And again, just people just out on the mountaintop, and there she is. A lot of times it's children, the innocence that she goes through the children. Although the Our Lady of Guadalupe was to a older man, a farmer, but it's fascinating because apparently there are a lot of reports of rosaries turning to gold, going to Medjugorje, and a lot of healings. It's quite incredible that it's happening in this day and age, because you think it's something that's going to happen way back in the Middle Ages, That's amazing.
Or the fact that it's just done or whatever else. And that's a very interesting point that I had no idea about, that they're not going to approve it until it's all done. And I guess that makes sense as well.
Yeah. They've got to make sure there are healings done, that it helps people to convert. There's miracles, things like that. But yeah, one of the rules is they have to wait till the messages are completed.
Now, if I have this correct, and I think it's with Medjugorje, is that, and maybe others as well, that the children who are seeing the apparitions, they come under what they call ecstasy,
yes.
basically. And what is ecstasy?
An ecstasy is when you're basically taken over in spirit. It's like when there's pictures of them where they're just staring out, and you could prick them with pins, but they don't feel anything. And it's just a thing in their eyes, and it's just like they're zoning out, basically. But it's an ecstasy because it's with the Virgin Mother or a saint or someone like that. You call it ecstasy. There's the statue of the ecstasy of Saint Teresa in Rome, where and she looks like she's sort of sleeping, but she's got this crazy expression on her face. But they call it an ecstasy.
That's something, because I've seen footage of that where, and I once again, maybe I have it wrong of being Medjugorje, but they're like walking backwards.
Yes. Yeah. That was, I believe, during the Miracle of the Sun that day when they did that.
Yeah.
But that would be an ecstasy where they don't know what's going on, but they're just doing it. And that has to be the way that. Well, I mean, Mary. I mean, they're not always in ecstasy when she's communicating, right? That's just no, not always. Like with Bernadette of Lourdes, she said, she was in ecstasy. She said, dig this well, find the water, but because all those people were there, they needed the concentration. She needed the children to concentrate, and just that was how she was able to do it. Because with Bernadette at first, there was no one else around but her sister and brother.
I'm just curious, and I don't know if you know this, is that, you mentioned that there's like a map with all of the sightings of Mary, and I didn't know if there's one for Jesus. And I guess where I'm trying to get at here, is it more common that Mary comes through than Jesus?
Yes, Mary, because Mary was one of us. She was human. And as Jesus sits in heaven, Mary does the work here because we can relate to her, because she was human. So that's why she comes down more often. Plus, she's the mother. And Jesus is wonderful too, but the mother is more comforting and just loving, and people would feel more at ease with her. Even plenty get Jesus too, but especially with children, it's the mother-child relationship too.
That's what I was wondering about, in particular, if it was to do with the mother aspect of it. That makes
like almost like they're saying, like Mother Earth. She is Mother Earth. She's Mother Earth. She's Mother in heaven. She's Mother, universal mother.
And every time I've heard of any kind of sighting of her, whether it's been approved or not, it's always been in that way. Like she disarms people immediately so that no one is afraid of her when she appears.
Some of them are, and they don't know who this beautiful lady is. And she'll tell them, like she told, the kid Bernadette, I think it was Bernadette, I'm the Immaculate Conception.
Yes.
And she had just learned about the Immaculate Conception. So it's scary at first, because who wouldn't be scared by this big white bright light? But she tells them, sometimes she doesn't tell them right away who she is, but eventually when there's a warmth, they're not afraid.
I just think it's incredible how the the I call them kids of Medjugorje, but they're older than we are.
Yeah.
They've been doing this, for a long time. Are they? I haven't been up on this in a long time. Has some of the children kind of stepped away, like they're not getting the messages? You mentioned that each one gets a certain amount.
Yes.
I mean, are some just
amount of secrets, not a certain amount of messages. There are 10 secrets they each get, but those are they're different than the messages. The messages of hope, prayer, fasting, pray for world peace, things like that. And they're very specific too. I was looking at them today. The last one was March 26th, and it was pray for peace in this world, and typical peace kind of stuff. But no, they haven't stepped back at all, because they're very important instruments, because they can relate to us today. And that's why, listen to us, that's why there's so much skepticism, because people think, well, it's today, why aren't there science? And who are these people? They're just making it up. They're making it up. But there's a divine intervention there. There's a real divine intervention.
It's always funny, because when I talk about paranormal in general, just talking about paranormal, and people don't believe in certain aspects of it, which is that is their right. They don't have to. But they always ask me, like, why, how can you believe in something if there isn't any kind of scientific background to it? And I always say it is a leap of faith.
But a lot of it does have scientific background. Like in Zautun in Egypt, in 1967 and 1971, they did all kinds of experiments while she was still there. There's no other light that can come through. There's no source. There is no way that projection could have been there coming from any other source other than an internal source.
Sure. And you're getting a little ahead of me.
Oh, sorry.
We're not going to talk about that quite yet. But because I want to make sure that we have a lot of time to kind of go through it, because that's a very interesting one as well. But what I do want to do, and I warned you I was going to do this, is that I want to play, because those who listen know I do spirit box sessions, and I did one on Easter probably back in 2020, something like that. And it was Easter, and I wanted to see if I could actually reach out to Mary. And this is kind of a long clip, because you get a lot of spirit box in it. But what I believe you get to hear, and I listened to it again today. Obviously, when you listen to your own evidence, you tend to be much more believing in it. But I believe when I ask, are you here? It takes about 30 seconds, but she says, I'm here. I want to play that real fast, and hopefully for those listening on radio, it translates well for you.
I'm asking if Mother Mary is here. Could we please hear your voice? I did too. That's the first thing I heard. You hear that? She said, I'm here.
Wow.
It's like, I'm here.
That got me that zipped through. That gave me the chills.
It's so interesting, and it gives me the chills when I hear it as well, because I remember vividly when I did that session that it was early evening, kind of a pink hue outside, just pink hue, kind of like in here, just really just serene. But the reality of it, Wendy, was that it was like 10:30 at night.
Really?
Yeah. And what we don't have in there is that I didn't include is after that moment, literally for the rest of the session, you heard over and over and over, I love you, I love you, I love you. I mean, the message, the positivity was overwhelming, just overwhelming.
Yeah, and why wouldn't she come up? Why wouldn't she? Your intentions are good, so why wouldn't she help you? We always think that Marian apparitions are for people in foreign countries or really religious people, but the more they get to regular people like us, that's what they need. So why wouldn't she help you? You're a good person. Why wouldn't she?
And the love I felt, like I said, I heard it, but the love I felt was just, it was one of the most it might be the most beautiful thing I've ever encountered in my life.
How lucky you are. How amazing.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely amazing.
And people always say to me too, like, how do you really know that it's so and so that you got or whatever else? And it's like it comes from here. And once again, that's the faith.
Yes.
That's where it comes from. It's like I asked for a specific person, you get a response that is intelligent to what you asked. Why can't I believe that's that person?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure you heard that.
Yeah. And again, it gave me the chills. That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know how to top that. I mean, we got Mary to some stuff that you want to talk about here. Leah Marie, she says, cool. It is cool. Thank you. Yes. It is very cool. I really appreciate that. And so why don't we go ahead and do this? I want to go ahead, take our first break. When we come back, there is a Marian apparition that was in Egypt that Wendy's going to blow our minds on, and it's going to be amazing. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Okay, quick question. What do UFOs, breathwork, and psychedelics have in common? Find out at the Midwest first of its kind consciousness experience, the Contact Modalities Expo, back for year 2, May 1st through 3rd in Wisconsin. This is not a lecture, it's an experience. 4 stages, all happening at once, world-class experts, hands-on, mind-expanding sessions all weekend long. Hosted by Jimmy Church, UFO Skywatches with Chris Bledsoe, telepathy, quantum hypnosis, ancient mysteries, try telekinesis, use dowsing rods, experience the God helmet, even a live seance. But there is so much more. Curious? Perfect. Already deep in it? Even better. Go beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. The Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through 3rd. Get the details now at contactmodalitiesxpo.com. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursions to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. So my question to everybody is, have you signed up for the Contact Modalities Expo that is coming up here really quick in about just really a couple weeks? That is going to be over at Lake Lawn Resort in southeastern Wisconsin. You heard that handsome man talk during the commercial break about it. You're going to go there and you're going to get UFO, UAP research and near-death experiences. You're going to talk about meditation, telepathy, breathwork, sound healing, dowsing, biohacking, remote viewing, plant medicines. And this is the thing I really want to make sure everyone understands here, simply is this, that it doesn't matter like how much you're into it, if you're just starting out or is something that is really interesting to you and that you actually know quite a lot about. You want to come out to this. This is going to be huge. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you want to go check it out. Go to contactmodalitiesxpo.com. That's contactmodalitiesxpo.com. And while you're there, you can see everything that's going on. There has to be about 20 some people coming out to do workshops, to do talks. We had Zach Screedy on last week talking about CE5 experiments. You really want to check this out. Once again, go to contactmodalitiesxpo.com and please go out there and have a lot of fun. We are having a lot of fun. We're talking about Marian apparitions. For some reason, I want to call it Marian conspiracies. I don't know why that is, but just ignore me. Ignore the weirdo and candles and the doll behind him. But we have our special guest tonight, author Wendy Reardon, and Wendy, who is celebrating a birthday here very soon in a couple days. Happy early birthday! That's exciting.
Thank you. And the birthday, of course, of the feast day of Saint Bernadette of Lourdes. Great, so get that with her.
You got to think that there's some kind of, what's the connection there with you? Just being
I hope there is one.
Right, exactly. Leah Marie in the comments says, Mary is my main guidance, my main heart guidance. And she is to so many, isn't she? I mean, if anyone could pull, and I'm not trying to get political or anything like that, but if anyone could pull the earth together, I feel it's Mary, even more so than let's just say anyone else, any other, even Jesus or whatever. I just feel like that Mary it can really speak to anyone and everyone.
She's appeared all over. She's appeared in Africa, South America, India, Vietnam. She's appeared all over the place. Because I think it's universal. She's universal.
Literally, right? Literally. It's just so amazing. So amazing. So let's talk about Egypt. And this is one that you had said to me earlier you want to talk about. And when I was doing my research, for some reason, I didn't see it. And you brought it up again. And once I looked it up after you had told me about it, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. There were about 7, they look like big doves, but they were light and they flew in the shape of a cross. No one knew where they came from. And that often preceded her showing up there. And for 2 years she did. And she was on top of the church. She would walk, she would kneel in front of the cross, and people from all faiths, millions of people saw her. And it was declared real by the Patriarch of Egypt, of the Orthodox Church, of Catholic Church. It's really amazing that all these people saw her moving and saw the halo around her with the blue. It gives me the chills.
So
she was right there.
So that's one of the pictures, and that is not doctored. That is that's a true picture that the church has said this is real. Yes. And above it is one of the doves.
Yes, and they actually, I've got a picture of them here where they were flying almost in a cross thing, and no one knew where they came from, where they went. They just disappeared. They came and then disappeared. So you could throw in a UFO thing too, or if you want to, but it's absolutely amazing.
Well, and that was kind of one of my questions. I wasn't really sure if I should ask or not. Of do we ever consider, do people ever consider these apparitions being of extraterrestrial nature? I mean, by definition, it kind of is, but you know where I'm kind of going with this.
But like you said, it's from the heart. It's from the heart. She appeared over the church of all churches, the church in a Muslim country, that the Holy Family had stopped in that area when they were going through Egypt. So that right there is one of the things like that coincidence would be amazing if it was just a coincidence. But, who knows what the connection is with, whatever they are, extraterrestrials or other things from other dimensions and our religions. Who knows?
And should it matter?
No, all that matters is the love. Like, you felt love. You just felt good. You felt nice.
Yeah.
And that's what she said. She's there to offer hope and just peace for everyone. Just get along, basically.
And it's interesting because that is something that not everyone gets. Not everyone, and when I say gets, I mean receive. And the idea of, like, I reached out, other people have reached out, or in this case, in Egypt, she just appeared, right? I mean, I don't know if anyone, there wasn't like a concerted effort to bring her.
No, she just, you never know when she's going to appear, or who she's going to appear to, but she never appears to the rich and the famous and the powerful. She appears to the regular people, and then she's on the top of the church with the regular people on the ground.
That explains why she appeared to me, not rich or famous or any of that.
Yeah, the regular people.
Regular people, and she reading on my end here, it says that she appeared to hundreds of thousands of people, and also that as you said, to witnesses included Christians, Muslims, and skeptics.
Yes, they do. And many were converted after that. But that same thing happened with the children in Fatima too. And they all came, atheists. The biggest Portugal atheist paper came, and they left amazed because they couldn't explain it. Nobody can explain. That's why they did all the experiments with the lighting and everything else to see. They checked the roof to see, make sure nothing was there, no holograms, nothing. And no one could prove anything other than the fact that the light was coming from the internal of the being.
I've, like, just my experience, as I mentioned last segment, life changing, right?
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that doesn't happen on a larger scale all the time? Because clearly when she appears, it affects people's lives in that same way, and I know that's, the just kind of the overall solution, but I mean, it just makes you wonder why she doesn't do that.
It wouldn't be special. If you want something, keep something precious, lock it up, throw away the key. It's got to be special. If she did it all over the place, then why would you need the faith? You're right. Because, she's going to show up again. No big deal. It's people get used to it, and then it wouldn't be a big deal when she is a very big deal. And it's only at certain times when certain things need to be brought attention to. Like, a lot of it was before World War I or during World War II. And I believe in the Egypt one, I'm not sure if that was around when there was there's always tension in the Middle East, but there was something going on. I'm sure the Egypt or Israeli thing.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of conflict. And just to show up, to just bring people together and, again, give them that sense of just peace, that it doesn't matter the religion, but just the sense of peace of the mother of earth, of the spirit.
I mean, and it's amazing that we don't, I guess in a way, it's amazing how something like this, the Egypt one, just kind of gets over time, I don't want to say forgotten, but it gets kind of left behind. Like we just are kind of like, as a society, we're like, what's next? So to speak.
Exactly. I always want the next biggest thing. And even Medjugorje doesn't make headlines anymore. Right. But it's because everyone wants the next biggest thrill, because we have the internet. We have no thrills anymore. So that's why something like this is so exciting to us. But it's okay, you've been there, done that. What's the next thing? People are always moving on.
Yeah.
But if you sit and really read about it and the different apparitions, it's absolutely amazing to think that we have such a close connection to Jesus, God, Mary, as other religions have to theirs too. But this is just for the Christian thing, or the people that believe in that sort of thing. It's just amazing that they can make them feel that love.
I'm looking at another picture. It's hauntingly beautiful and slightly scary at the same time, only because it's so it's like surreal, right? I mean, it's just so incredible. I'm putting it up on the screen here, also from Egypt, with her just hovering.
Yeah. It gives me the chills. It's absolutely amazing. And I believe that's the minarets of a mosque in the background. I don't know if it's the actual church there.
Yeah.
But it is amazing. Ghost pictures are amazing anyway, but to see a Marian apparition that's of something so modern too.
And that is just it. I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, apart from Medjugorje, that so many of them just appear that like especially well before our time for certain. But yeah, this is that's great. Chuck says in the comments, I've got to look into this appearance as I've never heard of it before. Right? I mean, I hate to say it, I didn't hear about it either. So thank you, Wendy, for giving us something new to think about here, because I'm sure there's books written about it. Now I want to read the books about it.
Well, I've been to Cairo, and I didn't a couple of years ago, and didn't know anything about it myself, and I would have been killed to go back there and see it, but didn't even know about it when I was there in 2009.
Oh yeah. Did you learn about it when you got back then, or
actually I only heard about it a few years ago?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was in Cairo and I didn't even know. No one even said anything.
Which is really sad, because that's your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It really is.
Kind of what you're about.
Yeah. I know, and I didn't even know about it.
That's okay. It's still funny. Last week I was during my Friday show, I was kind of going over some books that I like to read and asking listeners what books they like to read, and someone brought up a book that I never heard of before, and I thought, oh, I gotta check it out. And someone in the comments says it's like one of the most well-known and famous hauntings. I'm like, sorry, because it's like,
which one?
You can't know everything. It's a pilot who plane crashed, and they reused some of the parts in other planes, and they believe that those parts are haunted, and it creates apparitions on the planes and stuff. And it's like,
cool.
It's like you can't know everything.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that either. Wow.
Like, relax over there, Miss. Everyone knows about it. Well, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Like ghost limbs or something.
Yeah, no kidding. So this has to be is this your favorite Marian apparition?
Between that and Lourdes, just because I've got St. Bernadette's feast day as my birthday. But I love it because it's so modern, and it's so blatant. They've got film of it and everything else. They've got film of Fatima too, but I don't know. I think Lourdes is my favorite.
And so Lourdes, 1858. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Bernadette was out with her siblings, and they saw the beautiful lady, and she said, dig for water. And so she went and just dug with her hands and got down to a stream. And there have been, thousands of recorded healings from there. Now there's a big shrine there and a church there. But at first, no one believed her. They told her she was lying. She was a very sickly little girl. The cardinals or the bishops down there didn't believe her, but she wouldn't say that it wasn't happening. And then they went there, they realized, and the stream is miraculous. And I haven't been there yet, but I would love to go. She ended up becoming a nun, and she died fairly young in great pain. But she was also told that she would also have great pain in her life. And she did.
And it looks like 18 apparitions reported.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, people never believe them. They never believe the people, which, just like today, you wouldn't believe anybody either. Say, yeah, right, sure, what drugs you taking? But again, they always show us the most innocent people, the poor, innocent people.
Could you imagine how hurt she would be if she shows up and everyone's like, oh, that's AI?
She'd be like, what the heck? Well, hey, I can do that.
She was created in ChatGPT there. Come on.
I think she probably has a sense of humor.
She probably does. I mean, it's
happy to have a human race.
Right. So true. And I just find that so cool. And so Chuck, we did talk about this a little bit. He wanted to know your thoughts about Medjugorje and that, and we did talk a little bit about that. It's like what I didn't understand, which you were able to clear up, is because it's the message or the secrets are still coming out. It's like still an active case, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely believe for a place that means so much to so many people spiritually, millions of people, it's got to have something. There's got to be something there. And where there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of verified cases of rosaries and things turning gold when they're there. and for no reason and no explanation at all. But it's definitely a spiritual side, because then you think, okay, if there's 6 people that decide they're going to do this big hoax, that's 6 people. You can never control 6 people for a certain amount of time. Somebody's going to spill on something. And I'm sure they've been offered, tell me what the real secret is. And you can't keep a hoax up that long. And that's awfully, crazy to even think that you could do something like that. So who would really do that? And
the idea of being such a common person who in some ways is kind of in a kind of a pecking order, kind of higher than a priest and a nun, because they've had that direct contact.
Different way. It's a different connection-y thing.
Yep.
But I like how a lot of times they show up to regular, they end up becoming saints, the people. But at first they're just regular schmucks, like where's Mary? Why isn't she in my room right now? I mean, sure, the presence, but I want to see an apparition. I think I'm a nice person, but so far no luck.
And that's the thing too, right? And that was the thing that I had worried about when I did the spirit box, and what we thought got her response is like, I didn't want her to think that the purpose of me doing it is one just so I can get an apparition, right? And that's always something that you said yourself, like you have to have that pure intention, like we do anytime we do paranormal.
Yeah, she knows your intentions. She knows, and your intentions are good. And you did it on Easter, and you did it in a way of honoring. You weren't mocking, and you weren't trying to get money for it. It was honoring. No. And she knows you. How can she not want to help you? No,
it absolutely, truly one of the best things of my life. Let's go ahead, get another break here. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, maybe talk about some relics and stuff. Folks, if you have a question for Wendy, please put it in the comments. We'll get to it. Otherwise, don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Okay, quick question. What do UFOs, breathwork, and psychedelics have in common? Find out at the Midwest's first-of-its-kind consciousness experience, the Contact Modalities Expo, back for Year 2, May 1st through 3rd in Wisconsin. This is not a lecture, it's an experience. 4 stages, all happening at once, world-class experts, hands-on, mind-expanding sessions all weekend long. Hosted by Jimmy Church, UFO Skywatches with Chris Bledsoe, telepathy, quantum hypnosis, ancient mysteries. Try telekinesis, use dowsing rods, experience the God helmet, even a live seance. But there is so much more. Curious? Perfect. Already deep in it? Even better. Go beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. The Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st through 3rd. Get the details now at contactmodalitiesxpo.com. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Mavericks Real Roast Beef. Mavericks has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Mavericks Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Greg Bakun here. I've been talking for a while about how spooky, fun, and fascinating the Minneapolis trolley tours are, but now there's big news. The Candlelight Ghost Tours now begin at the historic Pillsbury Club, a beautifully restored haunted mansion once owned by Charles Pillsbury himself. Believe it or not, the interior is nearly 200 years older than the exterior. How is that possible? You'll have to come out and find out. Before or after your tour, stop by the on-site market featuring a curated collection of handmade goods, artisan crafts, and locally inspired treasures. Perfect for picking up a keepsake to remember your haunting adventure. You'll also find exclusive spooky merchandise from Tales of the Crypt and Elvira. Then, climb aboard the climate-controlled trolley as we travel through Minneapolis' haunted hotspots, uncovering ghost stories that locals would rather keep buried. The mansion is restored to perfection, and there is no better way to spend an evening. Visit MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for tickets and more information. Greg Bakun here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, This beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We're going to have Matt Schmidt join us again. He joined me about a month ago, and we were talking about quantum healing. And it was such a great conversation that I really wanted to bring him back and talk. And we had a lot of people who reached out to me afterwards and said how great he was and how he really he broke things down very nicely, very easy to understand the concepts he was talking about. So we're going to have him back with us tomorrow. I also want to say today is, if I have my math right, today is the 161st anniversary of the assassination of President Lincoln. And I invite you to join me on Thursday. We're going to have a conversation. This is actually a replay, but we're having a conversation with Troy Taylor, who wrote, I think, one of the best books on the subject that has a paranormal lean to it as well, called One Night in Washington. And it's about the premonitions that Lincoln had that led up to his assassination, as well as the spiritualism that everyone always thought that Mary Todd was the one who had the strong spiritualism. But, the fact that Lincoln himself had a medium on his board of war chiefs for the Civil War, and that she helped make a lot of decisions and guided him throughout all of it. It's a fantastic episode. It's a fantastic book. So that's going to be on Thursday. I am very happy. We have with us tonight author Wendy Reardon. We've been talking about Marian apparitions, which I think is such a cool subject. So first of all, thank you very much, Wendy, for just talking about this. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It is a lot of fun. I don't get to talk about this stuff with a lot of people anymore.
Well, and that's just it too. And I always preface this when I have these type of shows on, because I grew up Catholic. So there is a lot of and a lot of Christian sort of, when I do shows like that, it is leaned quite heavily towards Catholicism and a Christian base, Christianity. And I really need to kind of change that around and include other aspects of faith and relics and stuff. But at the moment, I'm just having a great time having these conversations. And what we hadn't talked about is something even like Guadalupe.
Yes.
Which is Guadalupe. What happened in Guadalupe?
That's fascinating. A peasant, Juan Diego, was going gathering wood, and again, the beautiful lady showed up, and she said, I'm married. And he said, okay. So he went to the bishop, told him, and I don't believe you. So she said, okay. He went back in. She said, okay, gather some flowers in your cloak, in his chile, and show him. So when he brought the flowers back, there were roses, and it was in December, so roses shouldn't be blooming then. Right. And he took them out. She arranged them in his tilden, and he took them out. And then there was the Virgin, the image of the Virgin. And what I find fascinating about that is that the stars on her pattern are, I believe they were the same constellations at the time that happened. If you look at the eyes, they've got all kinds of scientific stuff. The eyes, there's reflections in the eyes. It's an absolutely miraculous cloak. It's unbelievable.
And it still exists.
Yes, I believe it's in Mexico. I want to say Mexico City. I'm not sure, but it's still there on display. It's amazing.
That is amazing. It truly is. And
there's all kinds of, if you look up the details of it, there are all kinds of scientific things with the stars and the colors, and there's no way it's been examined 1,000 times. There's no way the colors could have been in there. They said it was not made by human hands. It wasn't woven. It was incredible. There's all kinds of stuff that goes with that. That is
something.
Yeah, it is.
I love that. That is so cool.
And again, appeared to a regular peasant.
Yeah, I mean, and what's nice about that is it's appearing to a peasant that could not do that, could not make that.
Oh yeah, not at all, But it is amazing.
Has there been any apparitions of Mary in like the U.S.?
Yes, there was one in I believe it was I think it was Wisconsin, and it was in 1800s or early 1900s, where a woman, she was a Belgian immigrant, and she'd been sick, and again saw the Virgin Mother, and she said, "You will teach people," and she ended up teaching people, and that took some like all the rest of them to get official, but that's the only one that's been approved by the church. I believe it's approved fairly recently too.
So the church isn't going to be approving apparition imagery and toast and stuff like that.
Oh no. They're very, just like with the causes of the canonization of saints, they're very strict about things like that. It's been one American that they've validated, one American that they've discerned apparition, but there have been, again, if you look at the map, they're all over the place. None in North Alabama where I am, unfortunately, but they are everywhere. I have a lot of places.
It's just incredible. I mean, I love it. I love this, and it's all the same. And when I mean that, it's all the same sort of, in a sense. It's just she's coming and she's asking the people who see her directly for something. Really, yes. I mean, I suppose maybe not so much in Egypt, but do you think there might have been like a hidden, not a hidden message, but something that some people picked up on?
Well, her messages tend to have a lot of the same message to them, which is prayer and fasting, pray the rosary, love each other, and just overall try to be good people. Just a lot of prayer, and say the rosary and pray for peace. A lot of that. Sometimes she will give out the prophecy, like she gave to the Fatima children, that the one said that John Paul II was going to be assassinated, and like the secrets in Majore. So sometimes there are ominous things. She also predicted, actually, in the one in Rwanda, she had foretold of the genocide in 1994 that was coming. So she foretells things too, and hoping that humankind will change, and a lot of times they don't.
No, they don't.
No.
So what, like with Fatima, mm-hmm. Was that the one where one of the messages, one of the secrets were revealed to them and they all started screaming?
I'm not sure.
And that might just be me making stuff up. I thought there was one, either that or Medjugorje, that something was revealed and it was screaming or just utmost, crying. Really, really.
I don't know. I know the one that they said where the man in white was going to be killed, the premonition of John Paul II. I know that was upsetting, but I don't know if they were screaming on that. I don't know. I really don't know.
And I might have been like misreading or something, because that sort of stuff too is like, we hear that there, especially back when we didn't know what these secrets or whatever were, that sometimes a lot of us think like bigger problems, like the end of the world or something like that, but they haven't been.
But I don't know, not that I know her personally, but I kind of do, but I don't know how she would give a message that would scare them so badly that they would literally scream. Yeah. Like she would foretell things and when she foretells that may happen, but it's hard to think of her saying something that would make them so terrified they would start screaming right there. Prophecy that would make them scream. But I don't know.
Well, and I wonder if it's like maybe I mistook that for like pure sorrow. When if she's talking about genocide.
Yeah.
That obviously these are
high emotion.
Things. So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Oh wow, it's just Now we have about just 5 or 6 minutes left. Mm. I'm just curious. Relics. I've always been interested in relics, and maybe sometime we could talk about that as well. Is there something what you got there? What is that?
This is Padre Pio, who died in 1968. He had the stigmata, bilocate, levitate, all that fun stuff. Yeah. And I've got third-class relics, and actually, you can see that. It's a third-class relic. And he had the stigmata. The third-class relics are relics that were touched to a first or second-class relic. A first-class relic is the bones, the actual body of the saint. Second class relic is objects they used. And then third class is something touched that. Now there's a Padre Pio Center in Pennsylvania. And I went to a paranormal conference with, Sam Baltrusis, who's been on your show before.
Yep.
And I drove him back to Massachusetts to, I was going to visit my parents. And at the Padre Pio Center, Padre Pio's habit was on display. Had never left Italy before, but it was on display. So we stopped over there, and it's behind glass, but they said if you put anything up to it, then it would become a third class relic. So I had an extra rosary. I gave it to Sam to take, so he could do that. And I had mine and my grandmother's rosary and my cross that I wear. And it's behind a plexiglass, and you go up to it and you put your thing up to touch it. And then when we both walked away, you're overcome with emotion. You just cry. It's so amazing and so moving. I didn't think it would affect me like that, but it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable that the power that was right around that habit, and they also had his glove and I believe one of his socks, but we didn't have time to stay, but it was the emotion, even being the presence of his habit was just unreal. I've got a picture of Sam putting the rosary up to it. It's great. It's overwhelming. And I've got a couple, they'll sell you can't sell a first class relic, right? But a third class that touches that, just like a piece of cloth that touched a first class relic, and the holy oil that I have, Padre Pio Center holy oil, it touched the relic of him. So it's neat the way that works. So I've got the Padre Pio, I've got St. Anthony prayer, and on the prayer book and on the inside, it's got a third class relic, again, touched to something of St. Anthony's. So it's neat. So they can sell third class relics that are, very cheap, but you can't sell first class. And relics, began in the Middle Ages. The relic trade was huge because you had a good relic, you had more people come to your church, giving more of their money to the church. So it kind of became like prestige, sort of. It was a moneymaker because, what isn't? But then they've got so many pieces of the true cross that can make 1 million crosses. So it's difficult a lot of times, especially to discern the medieval ones, that they were real relics or not.
Right. And I mean, especially like during medieval times, there a lot of people were buying like the finger of Jesus and stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay. There's actually allegedly a lot of Jesus foreskins around, like way too many that should have been what they claimed. But relics, the only ones that they could really sort of authenticate, and that was also in the 4th century, was the relics were back from Helena, Constantine's mom, from the Holy Land back to Rome. Yeah. So some of those are, but a lot of it, you got to kind of be like, I'm not so sure about that. But they do have a lot of saints. That's why I love Rome. There's every church is somebody's body part. It's great. Love it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing I love about that too. And then the true cross, that's a whole other conversation, maybe sometime too. We're wrapping up here. I want to just make sure, Wendy, is The Death of the Popes still in print? Can people?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You can get it from publisher McFarlandPub.com or even on Amazon. The hardcover, I think, is out of print, but you can find it in secondhand things. But the softcover is still in print.
And that is another amazing book. And it's so interesting because even the ones that are not, suspicious murder or whatever else, there's just a lot of great history has left us a lot of great stories about.
You can't make that stuff up. The cadaver synod, you can't make it up. They're men corrupt, humans corrupt things. But boy, were they exciting back in the day. And I hate to say it, but when Italy became united in 1870, the kind of zing got sort of lost. I mean, they're supposed to be all spiritual anyways, but it was kind of more fun when they were, warrior Pope Julius II going out there, and Alexander VI and all those fun guys.
Absolutely. Now, are you working on anything at the moment?
Not at the moment, focusing on the mediumship stuff, basically during the day.
That is great. Yeah. That is great. Is that going well for you then?
It's going incredibly well. And I focus on the suicides, overdoses. And again, they just show me things to prove that they're still alive, wherever they are. And again, never asked for that. They've got a sense of humor to choose me for that, but it's, that's going real well, really, really well.
And if you're allowed to talk about it sometime, I'd love to have you talk about it, or to a certain degree. I mean, whatever you're allowed to. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Wendy Reardon, this was great. Thank you so very much. It was great having you on tonight.
Thank you. I'm honored to be on again. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow with Matt Schmidt. Everyone, have a good night.